Have you advanced your career, but when you look at your bank balance, it looks miserable? Or even worse, have you started taking credit to manage your expenses? Or you are a beginner who just started your career earning a decent bit of money but wanted to understand how to manage your money better? If any of these situations sounds like yours, then in this video, we are going to understand the secret tips how to manage your money through ancient techniques which are still valid in 21st century and lay strong foundations on how to manage your money better and get out of any miserable situations that you have regarding money. Let's get started. The Richest Man in Babylon was a book written in 1936 by George S. Clason, which talks about the importance of saving money and also spells out the secrets of building wealth. It talks about acquiring money and also retaining that wealth and gaining the financial wisdom all along the way. The book starts by saying, money is the medium by which earthly success is measured. Money makes possible the enjoyment of the best the earth affords. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws which governs its acquisitions. If you are interested in buying the book and reading it for yourself, then I'll give you the link in the description box below. It's a good book and definitely recommend it. Go check this out. Babylon, as you might have heard in the history books or even in the movies, was a real city that existed in Middle East. And this was one of the richest cities in the world with a population over 200,000. The biggest attractive point about Babylon was everything that existed in Babylon was man-made. They had only two resources. One is the fertile land and water. But they were able to build dams, they were able to build canals, and they were also able to build the greatest statues that existed. However, during the period 1630 to 1770 BC, the people were facing slavery. And because they were facing slavery, they were obviously not happy about it and wanted to get rid of this miserable situation. They were earning decent amount of copper or the currency, whatever they were earning in. However, they were not able to manage that copper. To that rescue comes our man, the richest man in Babylon, who with his hard work and experience was able to understand the principles behind earning wealth and becoming financially free. So what does this man preach to these people that help them gain the wealth and also become rich? Let's go one by one. Start high, purge to flattening. Don't get surprised. That's how the book is written. The author, in his mythological manner, states that all of your expenses should be 9/10 of your monthly budget. Meaning, every month you should at least have 1/10 of your monthly income in your bank account. It also states that the 9/10 of your expenses that you have allocated should be for all your needs, your desires that you have. It should not go beyond that. Now you might be wondering, well, this is impossible to do that in a current social interactive world. However, if you look at closely the people around you, you will find so many examples of the people who have followed the same principles they adopted in their early life and were able to achieve the status of becoming financially free. Well, the next obvious question is, how do I follow this? So whenever you're making a purchase, you should ask yourself these three questions. The first question is whether the purchase that you're going to make falls under 9/10 of your monthly budget. If the answer to the question is yes, then yes, go ahead and make the purchase. If not, ask yourself this question: whether can I find a cheaper version of this, maybe a sub-brand of the same product, so that you can get to what you want and also falls under the 9/10 of your monthly budget allocated. But if let's say the answer to both the questions is no, then obviously you should ask yourself whether can I postpone this purchase for a month or two. By doing so, what you're trying to do is you're consciously telling your mind, ask yourself whether do I really need this product. If yes, then you're also making sure that by postponing this purchase, you have enough money in your account so that it will still fall under 9/10 of your monthly budget, and then you're making the purchase. And the caveat is you'll also be able to find a better deal or a better price by the time when you're making a purchase. So whenever you're making a purchase, ask yourself these three questions, get answers to those three questions before making the purchase. By this, you're making sure that your expenses are controlled and you're consciously making the purchase of only Principle 2. Control high expenditures. What essentially author says is you have to have your budget allocated to each of those categories where your expenses are. Categorize each of your expenses into categories like food, maintenance, utility, travel, entertainment, health, well-being, or any other categories that you feel where your expenses are going towards. Now, based on the budget that you have allocated based on your income, you have to make sure that you're analyzing your expenses every month or even bi-weekly. Now, when you analyze these expenses, you will understand which of those categories where you are spending above the budget or where you are spending under the budget. And based on that, you have to make sure that you're minimizing whatever expenses that you're doing for that specific category. Now, in this way, you will be able to control the expenses and you will be able to make sure that whatever purchases you're doing are on the basis of conscious thought and conscious decision. While making the expenses, you have to also make sure that you are differentiating between a need and a desire. Needs are essentially the ones that you need for survival on this beautiful earth, whereas the desires are actually the ones which you tend to make a purchase because of a human emotion. These desires could be anything. It could be a mobile phone, a car, or even a luxurious wallet that you always wanted to purchase. Now, these could emerge from anywhere, but you have to make sure that these desires are separately categorized in your budget or in the allocation that you're doing. Now, once you differentiate that, you're going to make sure that whatever spending that you're doing is a conscious thought. And this again goes back to the first principle that we talked about, to make sure whatever expenses that you're doing are under 9/10 of the income, or by this way you will be able to control the expenditures that you're doing. Principle number 3, make Thai gold multiply. As we grow, our needs increase. Like for example, you might be single today, but later you might get a family, or even you get into a relationship where you have a partner to support. Now, when that situation arises, obviously your needs would increase, and you have to make sure that whatever your savings are getting multiplied accordingly. Now, the income that you save have to be put into good use. It has to make sure that it gets multiplied based on whatever investment sources that you have identified to invest. Now, we will talk about what are those areas to invest in a different video altogether. However, what author is saying is you should be able to identify the sources where you can put your savings so that it can multiply over the period of time. Now, if you're not aware of those sources, then you should consult your friends, your family, or even office colleagues to understand what are those best resources where you can invest your hard-earned money. Once you have identified those, then you should be able to invest that money. Guard Thai treasures from loss. Now, this is in correlation with the third point. You have to determine the areas to invest your hard-earned money. However, in doing so, you have to make sure that these 3 points are in check. The first thing is whatever the investment source is, it should be easily reclaimable. Meaning, whenever you have invested a sum of money into an investment source, you should be able to withdraw that money whenever you want it. The second point is that the investment source, wherever you are going to invest your money, should give you a decent amount of return. This decent return should be somewhere between 7 to 10% annually. Over and above that, it is a good source of investment, and if you trust that source, you should do it. However, you have to be aware of tricksters who tip to give you a return of unimaginable returns like 100%, 200% over an year. You should not fall for that scams, and you have to make sure such investment and such returns are really not possible. Third thing, which is again correlation to the second point of this particular principle, is that you have to invest only after consulting wise people. And these wise people could be anyone. They could be from your friends, from your family, or even office colleagues, or it could be an independent advisor altogether. But you have to make sure that you are consulting right people. If you're not able to identify the areas of investment, it is okay, but you should be capable enough to understand who are those people whom you can trust, where you can invest your money. Once you have done that, you should be in a good position to put your money into those investment sources. With this, you will be able to invest in a source which is safe, which is reclaimable, and is also a reliable investment source. Principle number 5, make of Thai dwelling a profitable investment. Now, over the period of time, you will excel how to manage your expenses. You will also learn how to invest your money into a profitable source. Once you have gained decent amount of experience in managing your expenses, you should find ways to reduce your expenses. Maybe let's say from 9/10 of your income to 7/10 of your income. With some additional savings, what authors suggest is you should look at buying a physical asset. Now, this physical asset could be anything. It could be a real estate property, which is a fertile land, gold, or even an apartment that could become profitable investment over the period of time. Authors suggest to control your expenses and make your own home. Now, in this way, what you're doing is you're safeguarding yourself and your family from no matter what your income could get to. Principle number 6, ensure a future income. Now, this is a very important principle. If you are at the beginning of your career, then you definitely have an upper hand to start soon and secure your future income. Now, this future income could be of two types. The first one is the emergency or mitigation fund, and it could help you in any unfortunate situations that might occur. It could be a loss in employment or in loss in business. The retirement fund is something which would support you over the period of time. Once you stop working, let's say after an age of 50 to 60 years. Now, don't get fooled that you don't need each of these funds at the beginning of your career. There are thousands of people who would support this decision, and even in your family, you will find members who have allocated their budget to emergency fund and the retirement fund. So start allocating your budget to each of these funds. To ensure your future income, you should start small and think it from a longer term perspective. Now, whatever income source that you're going to allocate these funds, make sure that you have allocated decent amount of money such that it would multiply over the period of time and you will get substantial returns at the end of the duration. Principle number 7, increase the ability to earn. Last and one of my favorite principle is to increase the ability to earn. Now, this is something which is applicable to different age groups and different career positions where you are at in your organization. Now, once you have gained experience applying the first 6 principles, you should start looking at areas where you can increase the ability to earn more. Now, this is something which you can do by acquiring a new skill, expanding your business, or you can also find out a passive income source through the hobby that you enjoy doing. Now, once you have acquired that skill, you should start looking at how to market and monetize it. This is something which you can easily do nowadays. It could be by showcasing that skill through the social media platforms like YouTube, or you can also look at expanding your product business area and then marketizing that particular product. You could also look at applying for an internal job posting where you're switching from one career level to another career level. Or if you have acquired a new certification or a skill, then you can ask your manager to promote you because you have acquired the skill and this is critical to your project or your organization. Once you have done that, you should be able to earn more, and then this cycle of applying these 7 principles would repeat. Now, always keep these 7 steps of managing wealth back of your mind because these are very fundamentals of managing your money. If you're not following these principles, then irrespective of how much you earn, when you look at your bank balance at the end of your month, it would still look terrible. So there you have it. Apply these techniques and let us know in the comment section below your success stories. I'm sure I was able to find success in the way I deal with money in my day-to-day life. And I'm sure you will also do. All right, like and share with your friends and family if you learned something new. Subscribe to our channel, learn Gurukul Way, and motivate us in making more such informative videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you in the next video soon.